Hey guys, good morning. I am Kyle, the design director here at OG for Garage Design. And today I'm going to be bringing you along for another vlog. Here in the OG garage today at the 304 building. Matt's got the E92 here today. It's been over at Matt's house for a little while. It just looks right in this place. I'm going to bring you guys along today and see what we can get into. And yeah, let's go. Monday open over here. I got Slack, got my little to-do list I'm using. Even though we use Monday, I'm getting back into writing things down, so that way, I just have it physically right there that I can look at. But let's take a look here at Paul's design. I've got his info kind of to the side, so we don't see any of that. But he's got a kind of subterranean garage. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where he is. California. And you enter in, and it's a really low ceiling, and then I think it's like 7 feet here, and then I think it goes up to 8 feet in this back section here. But he wants to be able to have a wash area. He's going to wash outside, maybe inside, but I don't think he has drains, so I'm pretty sure it's just going to be outside. Wants to have some storage and a workspace, got to be able to store all the bikes and stuff like that. They live really, close to the water, and they do a lot of outdoor activities and all of that. And then they have, the workout area kind of in this back alcove. And this door goes into the house. So we got pressure washer, buckets, press all storage with, some shelves. We got a vacuum solution here on the corner, lev rack in the corner for bulk storage, and then a kind of a workbench area with MSS Plus lowers and some upper cabinets. And then we've got another little MSS Plus setup right here with a couple cabinets, and that'll house the compressor in like a doored cabinet with the reels up above. So we'll have an air reel and a power reel. That'll provide air access for that entire space. So I'm gonna show you this so you can see some of the interior views. This is like that view from the back door here, looking out at the workout area, the bikes, lev rack and stuff. Really super well modeled Viper chair. We're doing the best we can with the products that we have. I think Alex is working on getting us some better 3D models. Because of the low ceiling heights, we did a recessed linear fixture. So this is the Utopia Cube 4, or maybe the Cube 2. I can't remember which one we spec'd out. This looks like the Cube 4. We're doing those instead of the Cree Stylus. The Cree Stylus stuff is not actually made by Cree. It's using Cree LEDs, but they farm that out to another manufacturer to actually build those housings and those recessed or powder coated lights that are a little fancier than the Cree LS. And we've not had a really good experience with those. So the Utopia stuff is super good. It's a little more expensive, but it's really high quality. So you can kind of just see the interior views here and how everything is laid out. This is looking pretty sweet. So this was one that I did a sketch on. So I did a quick little sketch just to kind of map out the garage a little bit, and you can see Scott pretty much nailed it. Like, it's, I think, almost exactly what I put out. So that was, really the importance of being able to do that. All right, so, and then we get into more of the details going through each little setup. So he did do and he was asking me about this. We weren't sure if we wanted to do a seating area or whatever. I think we need to maybe switch this around a little bit. We'll probably do like a rolling cabinet or something. Maybe a 3-drawer or a 3-drawer there, 6-drawer there, and then we don't have a 6-drawer 720 anymore. Yeah. 3-drawer 720 3-drawer, 890 6-drawer, and then that'll open this up to be able to be a 890 size portable cabinet, the 870 portable. So we'll do like the 7-drawer portable cabinet extra deep. That'll be pretty sweet. A couple double doors over here. Like I said, this one is housing the compressor. You can just put like the little Werther compressor in there. It works really great. They're freaking quiet as it is, but you put it inside of a cabinet and you're pretty much never going to hear it. Krensless setup right there on the corner. I think he's going to be washing like out in the driveway, like further up, because it's subterranean. It really slopes down into the garage. And he's gonna have to wash like up, near like this little alley he was talking about, which is, probably 80 feet away or something like that. So the 100-foot hose will allow that to be able to, happen, and he'll be able to wash all the way out there without having to lug the pressure washer all the way down the driveway, which is pretty sweet. Love how this looks with like we got it modeled out with like the decal and stuff like that. So I think really the only thing we need to change here, and I'll talk with Scott about this, is we need to change the shelves. And then we need to change that cabinet array right here. And then the beauty of our system and being able to export these PDFs and stuff is he can go in, make these changes, not have to redo any of the cameras or anything like that, hit the update button. All of those cameras in the design proposal through the software will update, and then he can just re-export it. And then it'll have all of the changes in place, which is pretty sweet. Got a Google Meet video call here in about 9 minutes, so I wanted to give you guys a quick walkthrough of my setup and what I've got going on here. Oh, hello. All right, so I've got Elgato Face Cam. I think it does like 1080p. I think it does 4K, but it works pretty good. And I'm using an app called Sizer. This is a pretty generic setup that I could normally do with Windows, but it allows me to set up the 3 screens, and then I use it for other types of configurations and stuff that work out pretty well. So I'll have my video call here with my camera up there, so that way it looks somewhat like I'm looking at people. I'll do like my file browser or Adobe Acrobat, is it Pro or DC or whatever, for viewing PDFs, and then I'll have Monday open over here for my call notes. And then I've got my SCHIIT audio. I'm not going to say that because I don't know if that's bad to do on YouTube. But this is a pretty sweet little like gaming DAC, but it gives me functionality of being able to plug in an actual physical mic and have USB control, so I don't have to jump into the Windows settings all the time, because that's a huge pain in the butt when you're doing video calls and dealing with Windows and everything. So I have physical control of my volume, gain for the mic, gain for the volume, and then I've got that with my DT770 Pros. These are the 80 ohm version. I figured that would be a good middle ground from Bayer Dynamics. Bayer? Yeah, Bayer Dynamics. There you go. And then I've got an Antline Audio mod mic, and this is just the regular 3.5 version, so I could use it with this amp DAC. Works out pretty good. The Elgato Face Cam has to be plugged directly in to the computer, so that's why I've got this like whole mess of wires over here. I think I mentioned that in another vlog, that the Dell monitor I had before, like that one, worked so that I could plug the camera into the monitor and then not have to run so many wires and cables and stuff, but it's not working that way this time. So that's my setup. It works out pretty good. I look like an air traffic controller when I have my headphones on, so if any of you guys have been on video call with me, you know what that looks like. So all right, well, I've got about 6 minutes here until I've got a Zoom call, or I keep saying that, we used to use Zoom all the time, but Google Meet video call with Cindy, talk about their garage and what we can do for them. So catch you guys later. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ed. What's going on today?
Right now I'm trying to work on some invoices for one of our clients. Got a really cool Sonic MSS Plus setup and air system, all that stuff. He went ahead and purchased some of the stuff on his own, which is something that we typically try not to recommend, because we want to make sure that All of our guys get all the right pieces they need.
Yeah.
And one of the big parts of design is when we design it, we make sure that we have every single piece and part we need in the design, so that when we go out to build out the invoices, it's much easier and much simpler for us to get it done, and so that there's no questions about what's needed.
Yeah, that way everything's accurate. They get everything that they need.
Yeah. Because if you're missing some pieces, like you're not able to finish your design.
And it makes it easier for us to know what they've received and not have to hunt through orders and figure out what they have and all that. We obviously weren't fast enough, so
it's
how
a
could we have
tough call.
done that differently, do you think?
With him, I know we had sent out an email to check on his thoughts on the design.
Yeah.
And we just hadn't heard back from him yet. And I was, gonna follow up with him probably a little bit after he had, or before he'd sent the invoice, but we didn't notice the invoice right away. But just kind of tightening up how we follow up some clients,
Yeah.
depending on their level of excitement or their level of progress on their side. Is important, but sometimes you don't get all that information. You could try to get some more of that information at the beginning.
Yeah.
On timelines. But we're still working on finalizing our process.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's where what we were just talking about with Scott was like the new process, some of the new process that we're going through, the SOPs that we're going to be creating and stuff like that. I think this is one of the efficiencies that we'll be able to start nailing down, to where rather than there having to be this back and forth of like Ed reaching out and then waiting to hear back from the client and then having to send it over to Scott to design and then Scott having to get approval from me and then having to send it back over to Ed and then Ed sending it to you and so on and so forth, that now Ed's going to learn how to design a little bit. Scott's going to learn how to talk to the people a little bit. It'll just be this quick back and forth of one guy doing the entire process, so that we can get people kind of through that are ready to go without having to, wait on us because we're the bottleneck.
When he put the order in, he was at a very high time crunch. His installers were basically there. So when he placed those orders, he needed it immediately.
Yeah, and that's where I think we could have done better, and where this new process is going to help.
Yeah.
Is that like we would have had a better idea of that timeline had it not been like you talking to him and then me doing the call and then Scott doing the design and then back to you and back and forth. If with one guy just owning the process all the way through, it would have been a little bit better relationship and all of that. I think it would have been good.
So, yeah.
So cool. Let's go check in on Donnie and see what's going on. What you working on, Donnie?
I am notifying customer right now of their shipping date for their Swiss tracks that they've ordered.
Got it. Nice. So that's one thing I think we're getting a lot better at, is like providing better notifications and stuff like that. Donnie's role is not going to change, but hopefully it will get a little better because we'll have more documentation, more story behind each of the designs, to where Donnie will get an order that comes through that somebody's placed, or be able to look at like the file for that client and have a better idea, I hope, of what's been going on with that client, what the design's like, and stuff like that.
Are they finished building? Do we need to hold the order? Those are important things.
Yeah. Like we were talking about yesterday, of like the freight shipments and stuff like that, what kind of information they need to know for that, and making sure everybody's all on the same page with what to expect, so. Okay, so real quick, here's the kind of new structure that I was talking about. So this is our design flow. This is like the entire, way through the process to complete a design, continuing relationship, and all of that. So you can kind of see, what we're talking about here, and how we've separated, rather than like me doing the initial call and then the designer actually does the design, Ed sends the deliverables, and then maybe I talk to the client again, Scott does the revisions, and that's sent back to the client, and then you just kind of go back and forth through this process for a while, and it's like multiple people involved, and then nobody really knows what the other one's doing, and there's just this disconnection. You just have one guy that does this entire chunk. It's such a much better experience. A couple weeks ago, Ed was out of the office, so I had to kind of step in and handle a lot of communication. But because I'm intimately involved or intimately knowledgeable about every step of the process, rather than there having to be this, okay, Ed's answering the question and having to come to me for what we need to do next in terms of like, hey, can we implement this into the design for this client, because Ed doesn't design, so he doesn't really quite know exactly if this is something that we can do, or having to go to Scott, or with Scott then having to, all right, I'm going to do this thing. Now I got to send it over to Ed because I don't talk to the clients. Ed talks to the clients, and now Ed's got to send it to the client when he has the time to do it. You end up with this long drawn out process of like, now it takes like a week to get a change made. Whereas because I was emailing the clients and I know how to design and all that stuff, I was able to give an entire write-up because I knew how to implement that into design. So I was able to answer the questions more thoroughly. And then I immediately went into design, opened up the software, made the changes, took some screenshots, pasted that into my message. So now I have this giant message with all this information with the changes, and then had some other follow-up questions for the client in like 30 minutes, rather than what would have taken probably a week in our normal process. And it's like, it made me realize like how broken this is of what we're doing. That, okay, it was kind of working before, it was really good. I like the idea of having a designer that just designs and a guy that just handles all the communication. And we were doing that for a while, and then we realized, oh, this is not working anymore. Me kind of jumping in and doing that made me realize, all right, I just need a bunch of me's, or I need to turn Scott into me. I need to turn Ed into me, to where we can just handle the entire process all the way through, so that a design change could just, boom, be done immediately, and better questions, or better answers for questions, and all of that. And that's where this layout really comes into play, is that now the designer will be the one to handle that all the way through the process. Take that client from the initial call all the way through to the completed design, and be able to answer all those questions and really have a better relationship with you guys as well. So I think this is going to be really cool. This is going to, I think, be a massive change in a good way for this department, and be able to really push us into the future. So I'm really excited. Let's do a design team car update. Ed doesn't have his normal good old daily driver here today. He's got his wife's, what are these, C-Max or something like that? Ford C-Max. He's been enjoying this little car. I don't really know much about these, honestly. I just know they're like a hybrid thing. I think they're like a plug-in hybrid, aren't they? I don't know. His normal car is a Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki SX4. Pretty sweet. He has this grand idea to do it's probably never going to happen, but to do a Volkswagen VR6 swap into the SX4 so that he can go with me to Wookiees in the Woods. It would be freaking amazing. Basically, all-wheel drive, little hatchback thing with a VR6 that's not a Volkswagen at all. This is Scott's Jeep. So Scott is really into like off-road and camping and cooking outdoors and being way more manly than any of us here at OG. So this is his vehicle. It is not clean, and that's fine because it's purposeful. There's not really much point in cleaning something like this all the time, because it's just going to get destroyed the next weekend, because he does go off-roading and goes on trails and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. Sweet. So here's my car. I've had several Golf iterations now. So this is my 20th anniversary Golf R, which I really like because of all the blue accents. So a lot of people don't like it. They think it's stupid. Matt would hate this because it needs to be debadged and all of that stuff, but like all the badging and stuff is kind of the point of this, because it's got, the blue brakes are normal, the blue bar going across is normal, but the blue mirror caps are specific to this version, and then the blue emblems are specific to this version. This is the only Golf R that comes with ever paint matched lapis blue metallic, or lapis blue pearl mirror caps. Real carbon fiber on the inside, first ever for Volkswagen. You know, no buttons and all that, which is kind of stupid, but I've gotten used to it. I do get a lot of people asking me about this on like Instagram and stuff like that, but this is a Diano, I don't know, car seat. So we've got it now front facing for my daughter. She's turning 3 here real soon. It's been a good car seat. The only problem with it is it's really tall. So when you have it in rear facing mode, like you've got to put your front seat like way forward, which is a big pain in the butt. Even in our Tiguan, that was a problem. Whoever's riding passengers like really cramped. But this has been a really good seat. So we've really enjoyed that. My daughter has especially. The Donnie has a fantastic Toyota Sequoia. We're gonna have to get him on the the OG path, taking care of vehicles and stuff like that. Ed is on his way. Ed, we've pretty much converted as much as I think he can, living on a house that doesn't have a paved driveway. So Ed's been keeping up with his SX4 like really well. It's been awesome. So yeah, Donnie's little Sequoia here. I like it. These things they're sweet. I'm sure Waba's a fan. You know, Waba's a big Tundra guy. All right, end of day Friday, and I just finished up a long string of video calls with some clients going over their garages and changes. 2 of them were current clients that we've been making some changes. The first call this afternoon was a new client. They've got a really cool kind of car barn that they're working on with a large center bay for some storage for like a boat and stuff like that, as well as like detailing. If there's nothing in that bay, they've got a dedicated area for like a workshop, dedicated area for like lawnmower and gardening. It was cool talking with them and looking at the different spaces that they've already sectioned off and figured out, and then was able to help them kind of work through the ideas of what we want to look for with lighting and how with the Cree linear lights, because they were looking for something that was a little more task oriented, but with the Cree linear lights, obviously that gives us nice even lighting all the way throughout when we do the linear runs. That was pretty much my entire afternoon was having calls with them. It's so awesome to be able to use Chief Architect and be able to just jump in and make changes on the fly. It makes a huge difference in workflow and kind of just moving things along to the next stage. And then after the call, we can kind of tidy some things up and then send things over for approval or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, catch you guys next time. See what else we can get into on the design front. But it's been fun chatting with you. See you later.